Wagwan, welcome to my new YouTube channel. It's not really new, it's very old, but it's being revitalized because I watch a lot of YouTube. Actually, I don't watch a lot of YouTube, that's a lie. But you know, I thought I could do better than everyone else on YouTube, so I started making my own videos and that. So today's video, very simple video, just to get into it. I think my rebrand, I think I just want to do music. I listen to a lot of music and that. I think I've got a couple of ideas just to get you guys around my weird music taste. I think I want to do reviews, reactions, but I can't really react to anything because I've already listened to a lot of things. You know, I have to wait for new music to come out, which kind of sucks. I've got a pretty indie taste, so don't suggest me to... Actually, I haven't listened to any Drake album. I haven't listened to many of the Jay-Z albums. There's a lot of things I can do, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. There's a lot of artists I have not listened to because they're too mainstream and I'm too hip, cool, and indie to listen to. So yeah, I think today's video is just going to be... You've read the title, I mean, you clicked on the video. My top artists, most played artists, and my favorite song and album by them. Just so you get a bit of a vibe. I mean, most of this list is old artists that I used to listen to, that I listen to a lot. My number one is kind of that, and my number two is kind of that, but that's all right. I keep a track of all my music listening because I'm weird. I've got everything back to 2016. So Apple Music is very good for that. I used to be on Apple Music. They track you can just export that as a file and you've got every single play you've ever done for every song, which is awesome. I put in an Excel spreadsheet. I've got everything. I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to that, but I'm at a crossroads now where I just want to listen to music. I don't want to track everything, but it's good for a situation like this. Like I can show off my list. So without further ado, let's get into it. But first, everyone just appreciate All Sweatshirt, because All Sweatshirt didn't make the list. He's like number 13. Alright, to start off the list, my number one most played artist is Sufjan Stevens. Bit of a quirky pick to start. I mean, it's not my pick, it's a fact. He's my most listened to artist by a long shot. He's got shy of 15,000 plays total. That's a lot, and a lot of that came from 2020. 2020, my top 100 songs, I think 97 of them were his. I was kind of obsessed. I've got his whole discography on vinyl, which I'm not showing off very well there. They were the vinyls that got me into collecting, so I've kind of had them around, so they kind of get refreshed now when I buy new stuff. But I do have it all, apart from the Age of Odds. I did message Asthmatic Kitty, his record label, and they said they weren't doing a 10-year anniversary pressing, so I should have bought it then because now the prices have gone up because they haven't repressed. Anyway, doesn't matter. I don't have one album, which really peeves me off. Sufjan, my most played artist. My favorite album by him is very hard. They're all very different. He's got a really solid discography. I think my favorite album by Sufjan Stevens is probably Silver and Gold. Now, any Sufjan fans like, what the hell? That's the dumbest pick I've ever heard. Hear me out. Silver and Gold, Sufjan Stevens has 2 Christmas albums. Yes, my favorite album by him is a Christmas album. It's Silver and Gold, if you just strip back, like it's a lot of just quirky, fun, jingle bells, you know, whatever. You can make a very solid list of his best songs from that album, and that would trump any other album, you know what I mean? Like it's a 2.5 hour album, like he's not taking it very seriously. But if you do take the bits where he takes it seriously, you've got a beautiful album. And my favorite Sufjan Stevens song, so that's my favorite album, my favorite Sufjan Stevens song, the song part is very hard to pick. I think the songs can change any other day. But my favorite Sufjan Stevens song is Concerning the UFO off his album Illinois. The intro's track to that album is beautiful. Listen to it, you'll be amazed. Getting into my second most played artist, it's a band really. It's 21 Pilots. 21 Pilots, as you can tell, I've been tracking my music listening since 2016, so obviously I'm gonna have 21 Pilots there. I had a fan account, I was obsessed. And I still love their music, I just kind of grew out of it, if that makes sense. I can check here, they've got a total of 6,700 plays, which is a very large amount. But if you compare that, so that's my second most played, if you compare that to Sufjan's 15,000, you can see there's a big gap. But yeah, 21 Pilots, I love their work. Tyler and Josh, amazing people, especially Tyler. very talented. Because again, I've listened to all his old stuff like before he was, and you know, kind of big nerd, like big 21 Pilots. Like every single 21 Pilot lyric lives in my head rent free. Like it's if any if any of the raps come on, I'm just spitting it. Like I can't help myself, you know. Like it's just good stuff. So my favorite 21 Pilots album is their self-titled album 21 Pilots. From what year is now I'm getting tested. I want to say 2009, but I feel like that puts it too old in my head. No, I feel like that's right. Is it right? Oh my lord, I don't know. It is 2009. I am correct. Wow. So that was before Josh Dun was in the album. That was with Nick and Chris. I forget their last names. It's a beautiful album. It really shows off Tyler. Like Tyler's just kind of carrying the album. That's my favorite 21 Pilots album. Like I love all the other ones. Scaled and Icy, and Trench was already. I did see that. I've seen them live in concert twice. And my favorite 21 Pilots song is Taxi Cab, off their first album. Listen to it if you haven't listened to it. If you're a 21 Pilots fan, or if you just want to be like, what the hell? Why should I listen to this guy's recommendations? Listen to the songs that I like, and you can be like, okay, not bad. All right, number 3, it is Ye, also known as Kanye West. He's my third most played artist. As you can tell by my last video on this YouTube channel, I can name all of his songs in like 1.7 seconds each. Probably not anymore. I don't listen to him as much. I listened to him a lot at the start of the year, and I kind of waned, and I started listening to someone else who's on this list. But Kanye has a total of 5,400 streams, so he'll eventually overtake 21 Pilots, because I don't really listen to 21 Pilots anymore. My favorite Kanye West album is... I ask a lot of people their favorite Kanye album. I mean, no one will talk to me anymore because Kanye, but my favorite Kanye album is The Life of Pablo. I think I've consistently said that. Like it kind of switches back and forth. Like for a bit it was 808s, for a bit it was Jesus, but I think underlying is always Life of Pablo. Just like it's just a very solid, very Kanye album. My favorite Kanye West song, that's a hard one. My little brother and I, both big Kanye fans, we decided a long time ago that it was just gonna be Streetlights. It's just beautiful. Like Streetlights, I know it's not a real rap song or anything like that, but it shows off Kanye's artistry. Even I could go into it, just like the fact that throughout the album he's had auto-tune on his voice, like disguising him and like kind of putting a mask on him, and then at Streetlights, the last bit of the last chorus, like you can, all the auto-tune's almost gone off his voice, showing that he's like almost human kind of thing, which is really cool. Like and again, he's just the greatest, like full stop. I won't say anything else on that one. All right, my 4th most played artist of all time is Joji. Now, I am a diehard Joji fan, however, I hate Joji. My friend Toby and I used to listen to Joji back when, we used to listen to like the Joji snippets and like the Filthy Frank like song, like, you know, we were big into that kind of thing. So we branched out and did In Tongues, which I have over there. We were we used to listen to In Tongues just on loop, like it was the greatest thing ever made, and it still is. Like In Tongues for me trumps all of his other albums. I know it's a bit shorter and I know it's a bit rougher, but I think just like the nostalgia. I mean, Ballads is really good, and it's got a couple mid songs, and like it's just his progression is like it started so high, it's kind of just dripped down. But you know, maybe he's gonna have an awesome comeback. I don't know. But the thing is, he gets so much positive attention from his newer stuff. Which, I mean, if you listen to any real Filthy Frank or Joji fan, they'll all say the older stuff's better. I miss the old Joji. My favorite Joji song, I think it has to be Will He, just because that one song blew my mind when it came out. Like, I would have it on loop. Like, the rest of the album is really solid. And you could say, like, You Suck Charlie or, like, his older stuff. But I think Will He, like, you just put it on, just the bass. Look, I'll put it on right now, and you're just immediately in the feels. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you guys listen to Joji like that, but this one song, just emotions, and the bass comes in. What more could you want? from Joji. Screw the new pop Joji. I hate him. That's all you need to hear. Like, then you know, like, way better than anything he's done recently. Oh, and Joji has 3,200 plays, if anyone's keeping track. My next most played artist is MF Doom, sitting at number 5. We're halfway through. MF Doom, the greatest rapper of all time, full stop. I won't debate anyone on that. He's just the greatest. R.I.P. Doom. Now, the numbers on this are a bit weird because this is MF Doom only counting his actual releases as MF Doom, which is Born Like This, Food, and Operation Doomsday. So it's still 3 very solid albums, but it's only counting those as MF Doom albums. So the streams, so the 3,000 plays that this has is only for those 3. For those who don't know, MF Doom released music under 3 or 4 different aliases. So it's kind of hard to track. I mean, I can track it. I'll give you those details in a second. But my favorite MF Doom albums, Food, the 3 albums he's got under MF Doom are all really solid, but Food, again, maybe a little bit of nostalgia, but I think everyone agrees. Food's pretty much his best album. I say it's better than Madvillian, but people get upset about that. My favorite MF Doom song, that's a very hard one. I think just to be unique, I Hear Voices Part 1 of Operation Doomsday, which actually isn't on the vinyl because it's on the extended cut, blah blah blah. That song really shows off Doom's technical ability, and that was like way back in the day. Like, you know, he's still a bit younger back then. Like, it's before, like, if you listen to that and then compare it to like him on Born Like This, it's like a whole different rapper. That's what I love with MF Doom. You can kind of see his progression into villainy if you want, and growing that persona. But yeah, I Hear Voices, his rapping is just nuts. Like, he's the greatest. Oh, okay. So I'm looking at my little spreadsheet here. I did tally up all my MF Doom plays, like with everything. So that's King Ghidra, that's Czarface, that's Victor Von, that's like, it's everything. I've tallied it all up. It equivalates to a total of 8,800 plays, which would put him as my second most played artist, if that makes sense. If you want to count it like that, like MF Doom as a whole is my second most played artist, but the actual name MF Doom that the music's released under is my 6th most. It's a bit confusing, but for those who know MF Doom, that will kind of make sense to you. My 6th most played artist is Kendrick Lamar. I kind of hate Kendrick Lamar. He's nowadays, I really don't like Kendrick Lamar very much. Not that his music has changed or anything, but just like the perception around him is like Kendrick is the goat. Like, he's good. Like, he is really solid. But like the release of his new album, I didn't really like it very much. I might do a review on that or something. I've only listened to it once, which is, I really listened to it. Like, I listened to it when I listened to it once, but it just wasn't Kendrick, if that makes sense. I mean, I respect what he's doing with it, but compare Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers to Pimp a Butterfly. Compare it to Damn. Compare it to Good Kid, Mad City. Even compare it to Section 80. It's not reaching any of those albums. You know what I mean? But it's good for TikTok. It's fine. I mean, it is what it is. That's kind of a trend that is sweeping across the music industry as a whole. It's just like Joji is a perfect example of it. Smithereens sucked. The singles were great, and same for Kendrick. The Heart Part 5 was great. The singles are great. To get everyone enticed for it, then the albums kind of flopped. But that's alright. It is what it is. My favorite Kendrick Lamar album is Section 80, but I have to say my favorite Kendrick album is Good Kid, Mad City, if that makes sense. And my favorite Kendrick Lamar song, I don't know what I wrote down for this because it kind of switches around a lot. It used to be Sing About Me Dying of Thirst. The Black of the Berry is really good, and you could even go Rigor Mortis or Ronald Reagan era or something to throw that in the mix. Alright, my 7th most played artist is Westside Gunn. The nuts part is I only started really listening to him halfway through this year. So he's jumped up to my number 7. Like, I've just had him on loop. I've bought an ungodly amount of his vinyl. For those of you who collect vinyls, look into Dope, the UK-based record label that puts out all his vinyls. They're crazy. The way that they're doing it is revolutionary. Everything is numbered. They sell out. I bought his newest album. They sold out of everything. They sold out like whatever 5,000 vinyls or so in like 5 minutes. Like, it's nuts. Like the amount of hype they can generate. But we're not talking about vinyls, we're talking about Westside Gunn. My favorite Westside Gunn album is Pray for Paris. I don't have it on vinyl. I'm going to buy it on vinyl. I will make the list of the top purchases of the month on Discogs if I do, because it's expensive vinyl. Pray for Paris is very concise. It shows Westside Gunn's ability to create an album and bring everyone on and make a sound. My favorite Westside Gunn rapping album is definitely Fly God Has Also Got Two. That's a great album for rap wise. But as an album listening experience, I think Pray for Paris edges out Fly God 2, maybe. And my favorite Westside Gunn song is Michael Irving. I know it's a cliche because Tyler the Creator used the beat or whatever. But it just shows, like even Eurostep, like just those songs are just like so off kilter. Shows why I love Westside Gunn so much. Like he's happy just to put those out, and just that's his lane, and he does it perfectly. Westside Gunn is my favorite current living rapper, I'll put it that way. Next to Boldy James. Boldy James is nuts, and Earl Sweatshirt's up there in that discussion. But for people who still, I guess, actually I can't say that because Earl released an album. Okay, Earl's definitely number one then, and then Gunn, then Boldy, I think. I always forget that he released an album this year, so I'll put him into the discussion for Earl. Moving on to number 8, we're almost there. My 8th most played artist of all time is Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, just whatever you want to call him. He is a living legend, Donald Glover, so much talent. My most played album and my favorite album by Donald Glover or Childish Gambino is Because of the Internet. I've got the vinyl, I've got more up there, I'll take my word for it. An amazing album, a really good album experience. I'll definitely put that in my top 10 albums of all time, I'm pretty sure. We'll do a list eventually on this channel. Yeah, Because the Internet's nuts. Like, the progression of the sound, like, you compare the last couple of tracks to the first couple, it's like, huh? But the flow makes it make sense. Again, it shows off his artistic ability. My favorite song by Childish Gambino is probably Retro Rough. It's off his album Kawaii, which I don't have on vinyl. I wish I did. It's a very cool song. I know it's not on Because of the Internet, but it's a very, very cool song. Alright, my 9th most listened to artist is Madvillian, which doesn't really count. That's Madlib and MF Doom. They did one album together. I played that album enough to have it as my 9th most played artist, if that makes sense. It's an amazing album. It's regarded as one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time, for good reason. But that doesn't really count as an artist. I'll put it, they are number 9 on my list of most, of stream-wise. My favorite album is Madvillian, obviously, and my favorite song is probably Fancy Clowns from that album. My 10th most played artist is Frank Ocean. I love Frank Ocean. I'm not a super Frank Ocean fan. I just really appreciate his 2 albums that he's got out. And if he never dropped another album, I wouldn't care. Like, people are thinking too deeply about it. The man made 2 beautiful albums, accept it. I remember when the Black Friday vinyl dropped for Blonde, and I remember, this was before I was collecting, I was like, oh, it'd be cool to start, blah, blah, blah. And I regret that vinyl sells for a heck of a lot of money. I will buy it one day, I guess. We'll get there. And my favorite album is Blonde. Channel Orange is amazing, but Blonde is better. Nostalgia Ultra is also very fun, just a bit rough around the edges. And my favorite song by Frank Ocean, that's a hard one. Normally it's Pink Matter, but I think at the moment it's Pretty Sweet. Just Frank Ocean with just the product, if you know it, you know it. If you're a Frank Ocean fan, re-listen to Pretty Sweet. The start will throw you off, but it's an amazing song. That's all I have to say about that one. And my 11th most played artist of all time is Björk. I'm giving you 11 because Madvillian, MF Doom's in there twice, it doesn't really count. Björk is an Icelandic singer from Iceland, and she's got some amazing bodies of work, a lot of really solid albums, all very different. It's very hard to give a Björk album to recommend, if that makes sense. I'd rather give you just a playlist of really good songs by her, because no one album can encapsulate Björk, if that makes sense. My favorite album by her is Volnakura, or however you say it. It's a great album, very emotional, and that's her. That was a 2015 release, if I remembering. Yeah, 2015. So most of the stuff came out. Her first album came out in the late 90s and early 2000s. So she's still putting out. She released an album this year. Again, I think her older stuff is a lot better, but the 2015 album, I don't know, there's something about it. It's not the popular pick for a lot of people. I think her older stuff is most people's favorite. And my favorite song by Björk is probably Oceania, maybe. That's off her 2004 album, Madura. She performed that for the Olympic Games in Athens. That's an amazing performance to watch. I think that rounds out the list. I think that's my top 10 most played artists, my favorite album by them, and my favorite song. Roughly. I think most of that's pretty on point. I've got some other video ideas ready to go in the pipeline. I think I'm just gonna start posting this. I don't care that I've got 10 views. That's fine. But yeah, this is just like an intro, just so you can get a feel for my most listened to artists. And for those top 10 artists, I can like hold like a comment. Like I've listened to them enough to be like ready to debate any of my picks or whatever. So feel free, if you're a die-hard Frank Ocean fan, fight me. Blonde is better than Channel Orange. It's a fact. If you're a Kendrick Lamar, like whatever, just send out your opinions. Give me some albums to listen to. I would love to hear from you guys. And yeah, we can get some music playing and we can do something. I just want to listen to music and video it for you guys. I don't care if none of you watch it. I'll watch my own videos and be like, he's so funny and charismatic. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's it. Bye. Oh, I forgot to mention, I've got a playlist on my Spotify. The link's below. That's got my top 50 most played artists and my favorite song by them. If you like, why doesn't he have Tyler Creator? Well, I do. He's like my number 11, then Earl and stuff like that. Yeah, excuse I just popped a pimple. That's gross. Yeah, below. It's a couple months outdated, the playlist, but you'll get the vibe.